To loosen this belt, you'll see I'll push down to the right clockwise. It takes tension off the belt. You let go, the tension comes back. See that? So now in order to remove the tensioner, there's two T50 bolts that have to come out. It's this one right here, you can see that? And then this one up here, that one right there. You just take those two out, and then you can take out the whole assembly. That'll be this shock right here, and then there's the lever, and this pulley will come out together. All right, so here's the whole tensioner out of the car. As you can see, there's shock here, there's this lever, and then here's the pulley. Now, if you want to just replace the shock, you see you have to remove this bolt on the back. So you can't actually do it in the car. You have to take this whole thing out of the car, take this bolt out, so you can replace this. Mine seems to be working fine. There is an updated part for this lever. I guess from what I read online, this bolt was breaking off. This gets seized up here, and then this bolt here can break. So I might just replace it just because I have everything out of the car already. But yeah, that's it. All right, so looking at this a little bit closer, looks like I already have the updated part. You'll see this OPB 903308. That's the new updated part number as of 2025. So great news, I don't need to change this. This shock seems to be working fine. I'll probably just go ahead and change this pulley just because it is a wear item. They do go bad. They're pretty cheap. They're $10 or $15. But yeah, this is not cheap. This one here is around $300 when I looked online just now. But I was pleasantly surprised that this car already has the new updated part. So I don't need to change that. And you can tell this here is actually, this thing moves. And the old ones are fixed. This thing moves here. So that's another way to tell. The original part starts with 9A1, but somebody, probably a previous owner, changed this. So pleasant surprise. So I decided to replace this strut as well. Even though it's working fine, pretty cheap. This new one is around $30. And I've already done all the work anyway, might as well. Actually, there's a date code that you could see on here. This one is from 2018, and then this new one was made in 2024. So interestingly, this was pretty tight. It was hard to get this off. I actually had to put this back on the car in order to get it off. There's the new tensioner installed on the car. Just have to put the dust cap on the pulley and we're good to go. All right, now I'm changing the thermostat. These three E10 bolts come off, and then there's this little E10 bolt that I already took off right here, right there. And then this whole thing should come open, and then here's the new thermostat right here. So let's see. All right, so now this thermostat is free, and I can put the new one in. So the new thermostat is installed. You can see the kit comes with new hardware, which is nice because this old hardware looks rusted. I did not disconnect this upper radiator hose. There was plenty of room to move around the thermostat housing without disconnecting the upper radiator hose. So yeah, we're done with the thermostat. Hopefully there's no leaks. So next up is the water pump. There's about five, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 E10 bolts, and then there's this one E12 bolt here to take the water pump out. This is the main reason why I even started this project in the first place, is that my water pump was making a lot of noise at idle. And so all this other stuff, the thermostat, the tensioner, that stuff's just extra. But now we're getting down to the main reason why I even started doing all of this. So this should come right out, and then we can look at the old one and the new one. All right, so here's the old water pump on the bottom and the new one on top. You can see the old one's got the plastic impeller, the new one has the metal impeller. Some people say you shouldn't use the metal impeller because it could damage your engine if it breaks. The plastic one could also theoretically damage your engine if it breaks into pieces and clogs up your coolant passages. So pick your poison, I guess. This metal one on top was less expensive. The original Porsche one has the plastic impeller, so we'll go with the metal one on top. Here's how it looks coming out of the car. You can see the gasket still there. The new water pump is installed. New pulley as well with new hardware. Everything looks good. Got a new serpentine belt too. All right, the last thing we're gonna address here is this leaking coolant pipe. You can see here all this little pink colored coolant that's dried up. So I'm gonna take this pipe off and see what the O-ring looks like. I've got a replacement O-ring here. There's the part number. So maybe it can just replace the O-ring. But I also got a whole new pipe. This coolant pipe right here, it kind of runs back, right back there. It's kind of hard to see back there. Oops, there we go. There's the other end of it. So I got the replacement hose here. And here's the part number right there. And so we'll see. I'm not gonna open this yet. I'm just gonna break this connection. Let's look, see what it looks like, see if it's just a bad O-ring or if I should just replace the whole pipe. So this metal clip comes straight up, just like this, and then should be able to separate these two. This is some sort of plastic here, and I believe this is a coolant sensor back there. All right, so I've removed this connection here. You can see there's actually a lot of corrosion on the end of this pipe here, and you can kind of see where the O-ring, you can see where the O-ring failed right there on the bottom, and that's where the coolant's leaking out. So I guess I could just replace this O-ring, but I already have the new one. It was like $120, so I'll just replace it instead of wasting money on postage, sending it back. But yeah, I guess you could get away with just replacing that O-ring because it seems like that's where it failed right there. And you could slide a new O-ring on and clean this up, but I'll just replace the whole thing. So there's the other end back here. You can see there's not a lot of room, so what I'm going to do is remove this motor mount, and we want to remove these two 13 millimeters. And get this out of the way. I'm replacing it anyway. And that'll give me a little bit more room to get back there. Before installing the new coolant hose, got to lubricate the new O-rings. Porsche recommends using their proprietary Kluber lubricant, which seems very expensive. I got this stuff on Amazon, P80 emulsion. Temporary rubber assembly lubricant. So seems similar, water-based lubricant. Hopefully it does the job. You can also just use some of your old coolant as well. But I'll put this stuff on, see how it goes. You can see the old one and new one here, and you can see all this corrosion where it was leaking. So we'll get the new one on. Came off pretty easily. I thought I might have to wrestle with it. But actually it slipped right off. New hose went in without difficulty. Now time to put these clips back in. I even got new clips. Here's the part number if you want to get new clips. Sometimes the old ones are rusty. These were fine, but again, I have the new ones here. All right, the next thing we're gonna do is replace this coolant reservoir tank. These frequently crack with age and all the heat cycles. This is an old one. You can see the part number ends in 03 and the new ones end in 04. And so these are susceptible to cracking. Not sure if you could see that vertical crack there, right where my finger is right there. And so this one's not leaking yet, but it's already starting to develop cracks. I already have the tank drained because I'm doing the water pump right now, and I already have the engine lowered a little bit. which will help remove it. So this is the perfect time to do it. There's a number of connections that have to be removed, and there's this 10mm nut right there, and the thing should just slide out. So let's see how it goes. So all the various connections are now off. There's one fuel line right here, and all these other connections have been removed. The hardest one I thought was this little one right there. And now we just gotta slide this thing out. Let's see how it comes out. So just wanted to show you, I kind of had to tilt this at an angle in order to get it out. I was trying to pull it straight out, it was getting caught. But when I rotated it, it seemed to come out. Here's the old one, the new one next to each other. You can see the new part number here ends in a 04, and then the old one ends in 03. Got the new tank installed. The only difficulty I ran into was getting this hose on, this lower hose right there. Seemed like there just wasn't enough slack in the hose. If I were to do it again, I'd probably put that hose on first before securing the tank. Other than that, everything else went together pretty easily. Next up are the motor mounts. These are the motor mounts here, and on the other side, you can see the part number ends in 07. That's for this convertible model. I think they're a little bit different. If you have the hardtop, the part number should end in 08, but for the convertible, it ends in 07. So the mounts are a little bit different. I think this convertible, the mounts are a little bit stiffer. So I already have the engine supported from below, and there's a T55 that I've already removed. You can see it's right there. So that has to come off. Make sure the engine's supported before you loosen that. And then these two 13mm bolts right here come off, and then the motor mount should come right out. Here's the old one and the new one next to each other. You can see the old one sits a little bit lower. Getting ready to vacuum fill the cooling system. This is the old coolant I drained. Here's the new stuff. Obviously there's a bit of a color difference. And the way I got this hooked up here, you have this Venturi hooked up to the air compressor, and that creates a vacuum. So I can pull a vacuum on the cooling system and then use that vacuum to fill all this coolant in with hopefully no air bubbles. So that's the plan. Let's see how it goes. I've never done this before. All right, so I got the line primed. As soon as I open this should fill. So here we go. There it goes. And there you can see it's filling, and the hoses are gonna start to expand. Hopefully I got all the air out. I wasn't able to fully drain all the coolant. There's probably still a few gallons in there. This thing is designed to work on an empty system. But we're still going, making sure there's no air down here. And let's see.